Okay. There we go, hooray, okay.
Carson, we have somebody in the waiting room that is
Oh.
202 Dudley's engineer.
Okay, great. Hello, sir, can you hear me? Chris Yon? Oh, wonderful.
All right, let's call the meeting to order.
Okay.
7:34. Thanks, Carson, for getting that all set up.
Thank you, Carson.
Thank you.
First item on the agenda is a review of December minutes. Do we have December minutes?
Yeah, I sent them. They're, in your, I shared them with you, and I think, Bettina, did I share them correctly in our shared folder in
I think
the
so.
docs? I thought I did,
think
but
so.
maybe I didn't.
I think I might have moved them into the minutes folder.
Oh, perfect, thank you.
So there.
But you know what, Rick, here, I'll just forward it. I do shared. Oh, I don't know why it. You did see it in the docs,
I renamed it to put 2025
Okay,
-1-07.
okay. Oh, here it is, okay.
Okay.
Can you see it? Rick?
Yeah, I found it in
Okay,
email. Thank you.
great. Not the, it's not the,
Are we not in the right place?
no, I thought I had polished this up, but anyway, that's right.
Well, that's okay. Let's
Yeah,
edit as we go.
okay,
We're all looking at the marked up agenda. So item number 1 in the minutes said election of chairperson, but there's no results. Am I in the right place?
Yep,
Yes.
Great.
yep.
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. There's another version somewhere.
Oh,
I don't know how I saved it, but
okay.
it's all right. Let's just do this right here, because it's,
Okay.
I don't know what they did wrong.
So I'm just gonna type in here and then we'll vote to approve as amended.
Okay, there you go.
So I was elected chair. I don't recall, unless anyone has any notes from last month, who made motions or seconded.
Anyway,
I think you called it and I think you seconded it because I wasn't allowed to do anything.
Oh,
last
that's
month.
true.
oh, that's right.
Okay.
So what was that? Dawn nominated?
Dawn nominated.
Bettina seconded.
Okay, that's good. Smart.
Just because I'm so jealous.
That's right.
Passed 3-0 because I did not
Right.
vote for myself.
Right.
All right.
Okay,
So next, election of vice chair, Christina nominated Carson. I don't recall who seconded.
might have been the
Either-
same, was it the same?
Again, you know,
Because you
Rick, though,
couldn't-
I
you
couldn't
couldn't vote.
nominate them.
So
Right.
maybe, did you make the motion? I apologize, this is
That's
on me.
okay.
I saved it. Yes.
I don't think it was me. I feel like it was either Bettina or Dawn.
Okay,
that nominated Carson.
okay,
I think it was Bettina nominated Carson. And I think I seconded,
okay.
and again, passed. Dash. I believe we passed the minutes, okay, that's all good, that's there. However, again, Christina was not able to formally officially vote last month.
Yeah.
So that has to be changed to 4 yeses,
Mhm.
0 nos. The new meeting time, I have to trust the minutes, I still can't get it straight.
It is correct.
Correct, 7:30.
7:30, first Monday,
Yeah.
first Tuesday.
First Tuesday. Carson, are you taking the minutes for this meeting?
Well, I usually take them, I'll take them after the minutes are approved.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm still in a funk about where that copy that I saved and fixed is. I should just let that go. It does seem very weird to me anyway. Or we're doing the word again, but remember. Okay, great.
Okay, everything else looks right to me. Anybody have any other revisions?
Yeah, I think on that member teams thing, I clearly, it's not reappointed, but this month, right? Is not reappointed until after the borough council meets.
Right, her term had expired.
Right. And our concern, the discussion was regarding the fact that if they're always gonna vote in January and our terms end in December, we're always gonna have a month where a person on our commission can't vote, which
Yeah.
is sort of odd. So, I guess what we said here is that we remind the borough to review appointments before December. I don't know if we can do that, because didn't you say, I mean, maybe it's that we need to shift the end of our terms to like February or something. I don't know how.
I would imagine they could do it before the term actually expires.
Oh, I thought you said they do them all in a big lump.
They do.
Oh, okay.
They usually, I think, usually do them all in January at reorganization. But if this is going to happen, we can probably ask them to do it in November.
I mean, do all the
Maybe we can
commissioners
ask Jim what he knows about that.
December?
This is a concern we have because it happened in January that Christina's term had ended the end of December. And we wanted to renew it. She did the thing in, and they said, well, you'll be reappointed after the next borough meeting. So she came to the January meeting, she was not a member, so she couldn't vote or.
Oh.
I think there's some project you were doing too, I don't know what it was.
But that, we didn't have to vote on that, it wasn't
Okay, it wasn't
that
that big.
big a deal.
It just seems odd because everybody's term expires at the end of the year.
Correct.
So it
Yeah,
will always
it's
be the
gonna
case
happen
that
every-
somebody will be not officially.
Maybe other commissions aren't as careful as we are. We're the rule followers of the borough.
Or it may just be the calendar, council meets earlier than planning commission or whatever.
Yeah. I don't know.
We moved our meeting day up a week, so.
We'd be earlier than anything, I think. You have anything to say about the gym or
If
Mr.
she's on the website, then
Oh, no, she got notice. Didn't you tell me you
Oh,
got
yeah,
notice?
it's reappointed, it's just that, we're always
Weird
gonna have
lag.
somebody for 1 month not be able to
that
vote for
doesn't seem right.
January.
There shouldn't be a lag like that.
Right.
So is it
Not sure why
easier
not.
for us to change our reappointment date, or is it easier for borough council
Right.
to just?
Jim, the problem was Shade Tree Commission met, Christina's term ended December 31st,
Yeah.
2024.
Yeah.
Shade Tree Commission met like January 7th.
Mhm.
Borough Council didn't meet until the following week, so she wasn't reappointed until after our January meeting. So if we continue to meet earlier than Borough Council in January, then we'll have that issue. And I mean, we are the least of the concerns.
Yeah.
But if there's ever a calendar where planning commission meets before council does.
Right,
or-
okay, this is very, okay. That seems like a very minor thing to fix, so
Yeah.
I'll ask Maggie about it.
Oh, great.
Okay.
For next year.
Right, right. Next year's patina. Oh, right. Or the end of this year, I mean, this year, yeah.
Yeah.
And then, we discussed the downtown tree plan and code enforcement stuff that Christina did.
All right, do I hear a motion to approve the minutes as amended?
Motion to approve. It's as amended.
Is there a second? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No.
John, did you second or was he? Sorry, I wasn't with, oh, okay. So now I'm gonna close that
Go back to.
and open the agenda.
All right, any public comment other than agenda items? Does not sound like it. I don't see anybody else on Zoom. All right, spring planting order deadline. So the PHS orders are due, I believe, a week from today. So far, we've got 0 tree.
Oh, that.
However, we do, as we know at this point, we do have our fallback of tree authority, who will let us order trees as late as a week before planting day. So, don't worry too much. It's still a little disheartening that I have pushed the link out on Facebook to multiple groups. I know,
Borough blast,
yeah,
at least once. We don't have the sign up yet.
Oh, right.
There's one
that's
at the
the
post
thing.
office. Oh, it's up? Oh, okay, great. Oh, I haven't seen it. Okay, good.
so I know we're getting the word out. I do think sometimes for the spring planting, like when we're in a period of 3 weeks of 18 degrees.
So early,
People
yeah.
are not thinking
People
about
are
it.
thinking about it, yeah.
So I guess everyone just continue to push it out. I didn't email it to my neighbors like I usually do,
Mhm.
so I gotta do that still
Mhm.
and just keep at it.
I thought someone would want one of the persimmon trees. That seems interesting and different.
They are. We also, you have some, that 1 year PHS offered apple
Yeah,
trees.
yeah.
They were fairly popular.
Mhm.
So, if we are going outside of just the PHS order, if we wanted to do apple trees or anything like that, we could.
Do we think everything that's on the PHS list we can get from Tree Authority also?
I didn't check it, but from the fall planting, the
Mhm.
tree authority list is hundreds of
Mhm.
species long.
Okay.
So if not exactly, something very similar at least.
Mhm.
So I
Are
guess
you gonna do the basic, I'm gonna get 5 service berries, 5,
I wanted to
I like
see how everybody feels and see.
That makes sense. The only risk is that we,
Order them and then wait and try to sell them.
I mean, all 5 of us have some yard space, right?
yeah.
That's what happens sometimes.
Well, it gets us, I mean, the downside, as we've all observed with, we love Tree Authority, but like 1 year they were this big, the next year they were, huge, or whatever. It's just a little different.
Mhm.
We do like to support PHS's efforts, like be part of that. I think that's important. So there is, I would say, Rick, that's my main reason for supporting us doing this, your idea of the more generic thing, because then we can order from PHS without feeling this crazy pressure of February 11th, knowing how many people are coming to plant trees.
Mhm.
So,
So just pre-order is what you're suggesting? Pre-order some or?
yeah,
Yeah.
Rick said we could guess generally speaking,
Mhm.
based on their native,
Mhm.
we don't have too many of them in Narberth.
Mhm.
They tend to be popular. I don't know, Rick, you're rethinking this.
Which ones would you
Well-
think are on that?
So right now, I'm in the order form for
Mhm.
PHS. And they have it set up now with drop downs with your maximum number of trees you can order per species. We know that service berries are always very popular. PHS allows us to order up to 2 service berries. Red buds are very popular, but I don't actually see them in the list. I don't remember if they offered them at all.
I see it here.
Well, it's not in the order form, which
Oh,
probably
spring
means-
2025 tree species list?
Yeah, but it's not, I don't see it here.
Oh,
This is the actual like order
Okay.
screen with these little drop downs, and since it's not there, I suspect they're sold out.
they're taken?
Because they always sell out.
Oh, okay.
But, I mean, we could get a couple service berries. I was actually surprised last time that birches were not more popular.
Mhm.
Magnolias were pretty popular. We can order up to 2 of those.
Mhm.
Black gum is a great tree. It's not very well known.
Is that in the medium size?
Yeah, it's
Category?
it's a bigger,
Yeah, okay.
probably bigger. Carson and I love our red chokeberries.
They're beautiful. They really are lovely trees.
Looking for mine, looking forward to mine.
Yeah.
Loving.
And as always, there's elms available. So with 0 on the books right now, I feel like maybe if we want to support PHS, we do like 5 to 10. I
Yeah.
mean, that seems
Reasonable.
reasonable.
I mean, it seems like there are a lot of different varieties than the last few years.
It's a good list.
Get like one of a bunch of different ones. And just see like I haven't seen the aspen or the pine. And they're all
It is,
a little unusual.
yeah. Yeah,
Persimmon, but that's a huge one. I don't know, what do you think in terms of?
Yes, I'm always concerned about to the extent to which our neighbors are willing to plant something that isn't a service berry or a red bud. But I don't know.
I mean, it sounds like
Probably
for individual yards, people tend towards the smaller trees. Is there an option to put anything on a public space or not really?
I don't think, yeah.
You know, Jeff, what is this, get some clarification on that, so we can't plant anything on borough property until there's a full plan in place for all of the parks. But my understanding is that the thing that got presented is just sort of an idea, like there's no funding for any parks, there's no real plans in place for any of the parks to be changed until some future year, isn't that right?
The final presentation for the park plan has yet to happen.
Right.
So,
But even when the plan's in place, it doesn't mean that there's a go on actually doing the work and having it.
correct, but you know,
There's a lot more, there are
Yeah.
quite a few more steps.
Right, so it could be 5 years before we can plant another tree on borough property. Do you think there might be any give anywhere, like even if we
not
could?
that wouldn't be in the way, you know, Elm Grove is a complete transformation. You know, when we widen the sidewalk and, you know, that one will happen. I will see to it, I will rob a bank to make that one happen.
But when is it gonna happen? I mean, it's not gonna happen is it gonna be in the
I
20?
just don't want to see a tree planted and then we rip it out. You know, that's where I'm at with it, yeah.
Wish we could find some kind of compromise, because I understand what you're saying and it's valid, certainly. But there's gotta be some edges or something where we could at least put it. Seems like a long time to go without planting any trees at all in the borough.
You know, the only real spot that's open for trees is Elm Grove. You know, the park is pretty well planted. Sabine is planted. It leaves Elm Grove. And
Oh, this park isn't gonna get any more trees, or we can't get trees, is that what you're saying? It's
Well, it
plain-
might be replacement trees if they take out,
Yeah.
but that,
Yeah.
we don't know what that will look like.
Oh, so there won't be any additional trees in this part.
There might be, they're gonna
Yeah.
that's the part of the redesign that we don't know about,
Got it.
yeah, but it
and
might
that's where we can.
call for removing of, you know, the spruces along the tennis court and replanting, you know, with the more appropriate species there. Replanting the trees behind the plate them back there, things like that, but we need that field space.
I guess we just have to keep, looking for.
Our neighbors.
Yeah. I mean, Jeff alluded to it, parks are planted up, we've done a really good job over the last 8 years or whatever. I mean, just at Sabine, we planted probably close to 15 trees up there, and that's a small space. We've done at least 15 over here, especially with the long stretch along Windsor. We have filled up the parks.
Is the whole area across from the Narberth Park by the train tracks, is that all Amtrak property? Where they've actually cut down a bunch of trees?
There's,
Oh, right, like over
Like
here.
here, yeah, actually here.
that's all Amtrak right to the street now. Cause I think they wanna cut down all of it, right? Cause they wanna have no trees by the tracks.
No, they just don't want us up there. They sent a nice,
Okay,
please get off our property type of note.
okay. I'm sure that's all legal stuff.
Mhm.
And it came with a nice package,
Well. I mean,
Well, we were asking the question of how many trees to order from
Yeah, yeah.
PHS.
Mhm.
If we say we want to order 10 from PHS to support their program and continue to have bare root trees, which are easier for
Yeah,
volunteers.
Yeah,
If we want to grab 10 from PHS, I can submit that order pretty easily. I'll probably pick, if it's okay with you guys, like 5 species and do 2 of each.
Mhm.
Because to pick like 10 different species makes it really hard to
Yeah.
find a match.
yeah,
Yeah.
yep, makes sense.
Even less, Rick, like if you wanted to do 3 or 4, just to be really safe,
Mhm.
if you're worried about having that few. But especially the service, I'm a little down on tree authority, because 2 trees that I know from them have not survived, like within weeks,
Mhm.
like just split. So mine and another is on the service berries. I think just the way they grow them and the way they pick the leader, it just isn't
Mhm.
different, yeah.
a little bit different and small, like just the PHS, the red buds that I've seen the bare root just are so nice.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, the crow.
And they're so established, they establish so quickly.
Tree Authority doesn't sell bare root trees, do they?
I don't think so. Their bare root trees are hard to find from nurseries.
Yes,
It's just like,
it's hard
it's
to
not the way
manage.
they do it.
Because you have a smaller window in which to plant.
So Rick, I'm gonna say that Rick will order, what did we decide? You're gonna do 10.
And which ones would you get? Rick? Just curious.
Just looking at what's in the actual order form.
Yeah.
Probably a couple serviceberry. I'm tempted to order a couple persimmons and try to sell them to people.
That's cool,
I
yeah.
would love
I don't wonder how
it.
many years it takes for them to actually fruit.
I have one in my backyard and it's never fruited.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Doesn't he have to?
I did have 2 for a while. I think I only have 1 now. I feel like one of my neighbors has one, but maybe that's the issue. Maybe I don't have another one close enough.
Because I remember when you got, those were persimmons, weren't they?
No, I got an apple, but I got just one because it was someone's extra.
Oh, that's
It's
right.
never fruited either.
Okay.
I get a ton of fruit, but the squirrels eat every last one of them.
So it's not birds.
Of your apple trees?
Yeah.
Okay, so, for the minutes, 2 serviceberry, 2 persimmon. Keep going.
Probably 2 magnolia.
Okay.
I love oaks, but they are hard to get people to plant them because they're afraid of acorns. Maybe 2 elms again. Those are also sometimes hard, but we've always managed.
The magnolia says that's a container.
Yeah. Yeah, or the things. I'm a little torn on evergreens too.
Mm-hmm.
Like that might be a new hook if people have wanted evergreens. White pines are what they're offering and I have one in my backyard. They get enormous over time.
But it says Virginia pine, is that the same thing?
Oh, you're right. Sorry.
And it says, I mean, the way it's described is not very attractive sounding. Scraggly form, flat topped, no prominent central leader, persistent cones.
Tenacious.
It sounds really
Gross.
unappealing.
Maybe
Those
not
are
then.
few can survive.
Susceptible to wind damage and diseases.
Never mind.
Well, the nice family that I met, when we planted in their backyard, their actually flag lot is gonna be, is very close to them. He talked about how he wants to plant back, so maybe get him to do a pine or two, if you think. But it sounds like the description is very appealing.
Yeah, all right, I'll figure it out.
Okay, so I'll just say that we're gonna order 10 trees from PHS. Do we have to approve the spending of the money or no?
At some point, but we don't pay
That's right, 'cause
immediately.
you-
I can put in the order, they'll
Okay.
hold the trees and send a bill and we'll have to approve the payment before the bill.
Okay. So for this purposes of the minutes, I'll just say Rick will order 10 trees, for example, blank, I'll add these in, and then I'll just say by the deadline of February 11 with PHS, right? That'll be the minute, okay.
Yes, but we also in the past have approved a purchase not to exceed, and we can do that
Okay,
just to cover our bases for this.
yeah,
It looks like trees this year cost $75 minimum, 110 maximum. So I am going to make a motion that we approve the tree order from PHS not to exceed $1,500.
okay. I would second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
So,
Another unrelated question, where are we putting the subdivision application on the agenda?
under plans and there's a category for it, subdivision and land development. It's, I think, number 6.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Anything else for spring planting at the moment?
Anything else for spring planting?
Okay.
It's a 70% chance that I won't be there for spring.
70 or 7?
70. I signed up to take this continuing education course a long time ago before I even realized.
Yeah,
I think the
that's
date's the 12th, but anyway.
Yeah, spring planting.
I might not be going, but I probably will be.
I would say spring planting is
I
a
would still be doing
one-time.
polls, I'll
Okay.
still do all that.
And you're-
Yes,
you're on
just
that.
that
As long
Saturday.
as you
If it's
dig
the
holes
12th.
and take care of the other people digging holes. We appreciate that, thank you.
I'll let you know as soon as I know.
Okay. Let's move on then. Downtown tree plan. Thanks everybody for meeting a few Saturdays ago on a cold day to walk around and try to get a sense of what we need to do. I'll report out that we met at Get Cafe, walked around for an hour. I left, I don't know how much longer you guys walked around. We basically covered North Narberth Avenue, walked down Windsor, came back down Forest or Essex. And we were basically we didn't really put anything on paper, but did we?
Yeah,
I wrote
John made some notes.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
We were trying to get a sense of like, what is actually the state of the tree canopy? And of course, lots of honey locust, not a surprise,
Mhm.
but a few cherries mixed in here and there, a few, we think they were cherries over like near Danny's Guitar Shop. The red buds in front of the new apartment building are generally doing well, but one of them is missing already.
Mhm.
So if they're possibly still in a guarantee period, they should need to replace that. And if they're out of a guarantee period and they don't replace it, we could do it.
Mhm.
But we would need assistance with removing the planting grate.
Mhm.
So I'll jot that down.
Do we need to, reach out to the owner of the apartment building and point out that they've got an orange cone on their tree? Who
I
does
think we
that?
first need to figure out whose responsibility it actually is at this point.
Yeah. Do you know if that's
So that would
Kevin?
fall to Kevin Walsh, our code, is that, you know, their tree planting was part of their land development application that they did when it was built. So they would be required to replace it.
We have a volunteer for, reaching out to,
Yeah, I'll email Kevin.
are you sure?
Yep.
Okay.
So I left you guys early. Were there any like next steps discussed, or I don't want to say anything if you guys decided anything or figured anything else out.
Well, what Dawn and Christina worked on was like, what do we have to present to the borough council? So it started with that. Do you want to talk about it, Dawn, or?
Right.
I mean, what would be our next step? Like, we have to figure out, are we gonna shape this as we have our notes,
Yeah.
and like, what's next for us to provide something to borough council? I guess that's what, from the beginning, I've never really had a picture in my head of what, is it gonna be like a memo, or is it, you know what I mean?
I think we're gonna need a map, plan. And a memo.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so I think that we could do that based on talking about the idea of planting mixed species that are native, like clusters of 3 or 4 or 5. And that where there's a 1-story building where there might be a higher building to have a taller shade tree. So we can say for these pits, we recommend these trees. So we could, if there's I know you had that map, if somebody printed out a map, I could go around and like spend some time kind of seeing where the holes are and mark the places where we could potentially add a hole, which we talked about in some of the things, and then recommend in front of these buildings, we could give species that we recommend specifically, or, we can give categories of species, but I guess if we're gonna say like 4 clusters of whatever, say 4 service berries here and oaks here, then if one store owner, we're just to make sure that everybody, that the tree pits are unified. Do you know what I mean? So
Yes.
So, I think we could modify the notes to formulate something that makes sense to pass forward.
Do we have a plotter or large format printer in this building? Okay.
We could get a map, we could get one for you,
I think that would be helpful.
a handful of them.
Yeah, if we could get some prints of sort of the whole of the downtown, I think that would be helpful. We were talking about marking up basically from Narberth Avenue to, I guess it's Dudley, where the back parking lot of the bank ends.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Haverford to Windsor.
Yeah, that's better.
And if that's, Jeff, something you can do or something that gets farmed out to the engineers or whoever.
Yeah, I might just reach out to our engineering squad, and see what they have on paper already.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
And the area that we didn't discuss was like behind Haverford Avenue to the rail station, like, I
Yeah.
don't know if there's opportunities back there for planting
Right.
after the
That's-
new, or maybe that's part of the plan, but that's something we should discuss.
No, just like the parks with big changes coming back there. I don't think we're doing anything back there for a while. All right,
And then if someone wants to walk up there with me today, you know, if you want to identify or, you know, are thinking we could add a pit here, you know, because we'll need to look at where gas.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
Okay, so if we find places like, we built a pit here, and
Yeah,
then
if
talk
you
to you
want to
about it.
send me, you know, what you're thinking, I'll run up and check based on our GIS data. And just, you know, what valve caps are up there.
Okay.
You know, like I know the one that drives me crazy is out front of Capriati's,
Oh, yeah.
but in speaking with Mike and Kevin, who've been here for 20+ years, and we've had several trees in there that
Right,
have disrupted power supply
Yeah,
to that section of the block many times.
yeah.
So that would be an area where we could get, you know, a large concrete planter to support a tree for 3 to 5 years, pop
Okay.
it out and replant it elsewhere. Just so we have
Or just put
something.
a planter there and I'll put, oh, I see what you're saying, okay, that's why that's like.
Remember there was that one?
Yeah, yeah,
So, oh,
Yeah,
yes,
good question. Yeah.
all right, so our action item is to nudge Jeff in a couple weeks and see if big plans, big sheets can come our way. We'll take our walk forward, mark things up, and continue making progress.
Okay, thank you. Next item, the enforcement materials. Christina,
So, Christina, you
yeah,
sent them to
did
me?
you send them the stuff?
Did,
Okay,
I only sent them, I'll send them, should I send them again?
yeah, why not?
I don't know that I sent an act, I think I just sent them to her, I don't know that I said exactly what to do with them.
Okay.
Well, like that, well, okay, I'll look for that, yeah.
Well, there's no harm sending again.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
we
can
said to
follow
be
up.
included with,
When there's a
when there's
violation.
violation, we know this, yeah,
Did she respond?
no.
Okay. You could follow up with like a, hey Maggie, we were discussing this again at the meeting last night. Do you have any questions about it or need anything else from us?
Or is there any merit to having the borough office staff have them available, have a handful of them already printed? Because they're just gonna do them on the copier, right? It's not like it's gonna go be printed, it's gonna be.
Yeah, and they should be cardstock or, I mean, I definitely want to leave it to them to print them, and I don't think we would need more than 10 of them.
Yeah.
But you know what, instead of Maggie, why don't I reach out to,
Oh, Kelsey,
yes, I'll email it to Kelsey.
okay.
All right, thanks. Okay, our next item on the agenda is subdivisions and land developments. And we do actually have one to discuss tonight. It's 202 Dudley. And I see the applicant's engineer, Chris Yon, is on Zoom and has turned on his camera. It's been a few years since Chris has been here before us, but he has visited us before with land developments. Chris, we have seen the plan, but I don't think any of us have seen a presentation about it or anything. So if you want to take a few minutes to walk us through what you're doing and where you are in the process, we'd appreciate it.
Everybody has the plans, right?
Yeah.
To look at.
I'd be happy to do that. Am I able to share my screen? So when I click it, it says host disabled participant sharing.
Okay, let me look and see if there's probably something simple here. Let's see, it says share. What does this say? Can I let somebody else? Share
Just go
down.
into the Zoom settings.
Oh, so it's not in the share thing. It's
I
not
don't
here.
think so. If if the host had disabled.
Oh, multiple participants can share simultaneously. Try it again now.
Okay, yes,
Oh,
Perfect.
thank you.
of course.
So I'll be brief and then just let me know if you'd like me to expand. So this is, the property address is 202 Dudley Avenue. And so I'm going to zoom in here. This is page 3 of the plan set. This shows the survey as well as an aerial underneath. Although with all the tree canopy, it's a little hard to see what's going on. So on the right side of the plan here is Dudley Avenue. Along the bottom is Windsor Avenue. There's an existing twin building here right at the corner. And so the half of the twin that is next to Windsor is not part of the project. This project is the other half of the twin that currently owns this other, larger property that has a swimming pool and a little expanded driveway. And so these areas cross-hatched in red are what will be removed, which is a detached garage in the back here. The pool will be removed and all the decking around it. The trees that will be removed are shown with a red X. So there's a 15-inch dogwood, a 9-inch cherry, a triple maple, looks like a 12-inch, an 8-inch pine, and a 7-inch pine in the back. And so I'm going to go back to the first sheet in the plan set to better show what we're doing here. And so this twin will remain as it is. The driveway will be reconfigured a little bit. There will be interior renovations, but at this time, no exterior renovations are proposed. And a new single-family home will be built here in this open lot area. So we have a driveway on the right-hand side going back to a detached garage in the rear. There's a deck in the rear and a little bit of yard space. We are keeping a 15-inch triple maple in the front, which is right behind the right-of-way. We had originally shown that to be removed, and the Planning Commission requested that we try to keep it. And so to do that, we pushed the sidewalk over. It was originally a door that came right out the center of the building. We pushed the door over. We changed the walkway. So the zoning code requires that we have a walkway from the front door to the sidewalk. It doesn't say what that walkway has to be made out of. So in order to try to save that tree, we've converted it to be basically some flagstone, like stepping stones now, so that they could be more laid on the ground, or even if they have a little stone bedding, it doesn't need to be cut out 8 inches the same way that a concrete sidewalk would for 4 inches of bedding and another 4 inches of concrete. So we've shifted that over closer to the driveway. We've adjusted the utilities a little bit to try to really do what we can do to keep that tree. In green here are the proposed replacement trees that we have. We have an elm tree up along the street here. We didn't see that there was really more room for other street trees. If we're keeping this maple tree in the front here and the driveway on the side, and the other existing driveway is right along the property line, doesn't really leave room for other plantings along the street here. The twin has this 12-inch linden that's somewhat right in the middle of the twin, and then the driveway on the other side. So we thought we could squeeze in the elm here. But there are also some overhead lines, both along the street and then one that feeds from the utility pole over to the building. So then we also have some, I'm going to call them buffer plantings in the rear. It's basically a mix between Sweet Bay Magnolia and some arborvitae, which is, as mentioned, I was here a few years ago for 32 Sabine. We had shown all arborvitae, and I know the Shade Tree Commission doesn't love them. What we kind of settled on was a mixture of the magnolias and arborvitae, which is why we went back to that scheme here for this plan. And so that's really what's proposed here on this sheet 1. If you zoom in on your plan, we have a list of the trees to be removed and remain. And we have the replacement tree or the the street tree requirements and also replacement tree requirements. And so we have a replacement caliper requirement of 27 inches, and so we have 11 trees that are 2.5-inch caliper or equivalent for evergreen. We have, I guess, just cycling through to some other plans here. Just quickly, this first sheet is what we call the illustrative sheet, just kind of more cleanly shows what's happening. Sheet 2 is the record plan, which shows the new property line and data for the county, signature blocks and zoning data. Sheet 3 is the existing conditions / demo / vicinity, so you can see properties around this one, see how it fits into the neighborhood. Sheet 4 is the grading and utility sheet, so that shows proposed water line, sewer lateral, gas line. You can see the stormwater management system in the rear and the stormwater piping around the building. We have sheet 5 are the stormwater management and construction details. Sheet 6 are the sediment and erosion control plan that shows some tree protection fencing for this tree on the neighboring property in the front. And some silt fence in the rear of the topsoil stockpile. And actually, as I see this, I realize we need to add some tree protection fencing around this maple in the front. I guess when we switched to keep that, we forgot to add it. So I can add that to our plans. In fact, I can do it quickly here just so you can see what it would look like. We would basically go right up to the edge of the sidewalk, give a little space to work around the building, go right up to the sewer line, kind of create a box around that tree. And then the last page is the erosion control details. And so I'm happy to go into any further explanation for you. I can tell you where we are in the process is we submitted in, I believe it was November. We went to the Planning Commission in December. We received a recommendation for approval. We went to the Zoning Hearing Board in January for the detached garage in the back. Long story short, the code has locations that they'd prefer, driveways and parking spaces, and then they have kind of their secondary options, which require a special exception, and then they have other options that they don't want. So this required a special exception. We received that approval, and then we went to Borough Council for their approval of the subdivision plans. They did grant approval subject to revising the plans to address the Borough Engineers Review Letter, the Zoning Officer's Letter, and the Montgomery County Planning Commission's letter, as well as to come in front of the Shade Tree Commission to present the plans and make sure that we're in compliance with the ordinance and addressing any of your concerns. So that's where we are. If you have any questions or like me to go into any further explanation, I can.
Hi, I'm Carson Clark, and what I always look at is the table of impervious coverage.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to clarify that you mentioned that, you've been sort of going back and forth and you kept that big white maple that's in the front that I walked past it today, so I know the site. But so this impervious surface obviously is just under 60%. So is that as of now with what you just described to us? Like, for example, I'm not sure, what's the material that goes around when you said the fence around the tree? I don't understand what that is.
Tree protection fencing, and so that's just temporary during construction to help have the make sure the contractors, don't, run over the roots or hit the tree.
Yeah. Okay, great. So this impervious coverage is accurate as of now, right? In terms of the.
So the existing impervious coverage is what is existing as of now. And then the proposed is what is proposed to be built. And yes, it's close to the 60% maximum.
Chris, are you requesting any waivers related to landscaping or trees or any waivers at all, actually?
None related to landscaping. We did request a few waivers. Let's see, best, I know where they're noted on the plan. Let me just find the best place for them. Yeah, they're on the record plan on sheet 2. And so we got this special exception for the parking space, the 2 waivers. One was a requirement to provide a preliminary plan. And so the code has the tentative or the sketch, preliminary, and final. And given that this plan creates only one property line and didn't have any public improvements, we thought that we could get through in one step, as opposed to going back again for final plans, that we could design it to final plan standards right from the start. And so that was one of the waivers that was granted. The other was a waiver to provide a minimum driveway width of 10 feet, which was granted. And so, the zoning code requires a parking space of at least 9 by 18, but then the subdivision land development code requires a minimum driveway width of 10 feet wide. And so we reduced the driveway width to 9 feet. And so we had to ask for a waiver for that. So those were the waivers. I should have added one other thing. We did not receive a review from the borough landscape architect. That was one of the things that came up at the borough council meeting, and we said that we would, address that letter, but I still have not received it.
Okay. Chris, in the past, when you were here, the borough did not have a consulting landscape architect. So it was on the Shade Tree Commission to dig deeper into your replacement requirements and all of the ordinance requirements. We've shifted away from that role now that the borough has engaged a landscape architect. I don't recall his name right now. We haven't had a lot of development in front of us, but he works for Pannoni. So hopefully you will get a review letter from him soon if there's anything to review. So that said, just from looking at your calculations, your landscape quantities and requirements, I'm assuming that they're correct because I haven't checked these plans against our ordinances. So from the point of view of the Shade Tree Commission, you haven't asked for any waivers. We think your plan is in compliance with the borough ordinances, which means that, we could ask the applicant to plant 1 million trees. They don't have to plant any more. They're meeting the requirements of the ordinance, we think. Okay. So does anyone, but we certainly can comment if we want to suggest or request a species change or slight location changes or, anything like that. So does
Well, I guess the one question I have, because I know everybody loves Arbor Vitae. Tell me what your thinking was. Is there a noise issue where you're planting it between that and the property adjacent, or did you have a reason for choosing those?
Well, it's more the developer here is Spizzato Homes. On this project, it's a different name, the Marley Real Estate Holdings, but it's essentially Spizzato Homes. And so, I think you've met Vince before. He was with the 32 Sabine property. That's one of the plants that the builders like to plant. They, they get up to the size that they want fairly quickly.
Right.
They're easy to plant. They're easy to source. People are familiar with them. And so I guess Vince is a reasonable guy. He's not unwilling to do other things. Like I said, in the last project, we ended up with a mix between the arborvitae and the sweet bay magnolias. But I think they're what's comfortable and I think achieves the purpose that the developer is looking for to provide some screening.
Got it.
Short of a formal review, Jim, do you recall, we had definitely sent the prior manager, Matt, a revised plant list. Was that adopted?
Yeah, it was adopted.
I'm not certain whether arborvitae are on that list or not. So that's something to check.
So, are these arborvitae, used in,
Every,
no, are they used for the purpose of like caliper and, you know, I mean, like as a required
In this
replacement?
case, I believe they're part of the replacement tree requirement.
yeah, it's in, I don't know if I hate the
It's just
mountain.
Okay, I guess my understanding is that they can use arborvitae as long as they're extra and, you know, as long as they're used for screening or something, but not,
This is to meet a requirement.
yeah, not to meet a requirement.
Yeah.
So the caliper wouldn't count toward the caliper replacement that we need. Okay,
That's what I understand. That was the intent, I think, wasn't it?
yes,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, arborvitae are not.
they're
The
not,
intention,
Do they count as having a caliper as a shade tree? I thought or do they count as a tree?
in this plan, they're used toward the calipers. What page am I on?
Well, the magnolias are the arborvitae.
Yeah, they're right above it on.
Well, they're beside them, but are we
Yes,
including them
they're
as a
labeled as-
caliper? Okay.
as
Oh, I
replacement
can't see that, I'm
trees.
sorry.
They were both counted in the replacement, and so if arborvitae are no longer allowed to be counted, then we'll have to switch them. I'm not interested in asking for a waiver or relief. I was kind of going by what was permitted before, and so if that's changed, we
Yeah,
can,
absolutely. No, we get it.
Yeah.
And is this something that the landscape, architect in his review would be aware of?
that's typically if the landscape architect should review species against the species list.
That's what I thought.
So, I mean, Chris, in short, I think we would all be happier to see the arborvitae out of there and replaced with, I mean,
Native.
as simply, you could do all magnolias or go to a mix of, you know, there are a lot of lower growing flowering trees that would also provide some screening. You know, red buds, dogwoods, service berries. But yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
where most of
I-
us would land.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's a landscape architect who will make the recommendation, but, we have an awful lot of them in Narberth, and we're looking at making our whole canopy healthier, and planting new arborvitae is not gonna move toward that.
And we do appreciate all the care that's
Oh,
always
absolutely.
taken care of for the
Yeah.
maple. Now, is that a red maple?
It's a funny looking
Isn't it
thing, you
Japanese?
should walk past
The
it.
Japanese maple?
Yes,
Okay.
Japanese maple, and it's
With the Pachysandra under the.
probably,
Yeah,
okay,
I mean, I love that, the one, you did mention that the elm's going under the wires, but if it is, they need a shade tree on that area
They
right there,
do.
so that would be fantastic. I just hope nobody's scared off by the wires, because I have an elm under wires, and if it's upright, it's fine. You know, I've run 7 years,
yeah,
so.
okay. So do we need to nudge the landscape architect about replying to the company?
I think we need to probably talk to Maggie and just see what happens.
Okay,
And short of a landscape architect's review, do we have other comments
that was the
from
main,
ourselves?
that was the main thing for me. I mean, the impervious surface and the species of trees and the place to caliper. Okay, those are my things, so. Thank you.
Okay, so we need to make a formal recommendation.
Yeah,
I mean, they're at a point that they're basically waiting for us, right? We're their last step to approval. I don't know if the borough landscape architect will actually ever get a chance to look at these because of where we are in the process.
oh, I see.
That's possible.
so my understanding is that we are through Borough Council, and at this point, it will be, Borough staff will be the gatekeeper to make sure that we've submitted the revised plans, but now it's up to each, the borough engineer, the zoning officer, and then the landscape consultant to all review, approve, and then, the township staff, Maggie Dobbs, will say, yes, you've done everything, so now we will sign the plans for recording, or no, it's not done yet, so we're not signing them yet.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you know where the list of trees is in the code? I'm searching here and not finding it, but maybe I'm just missing it.
It's a good question. I don't know exactly where it is in the code. I know that a few months ago, like 6 months ago, probably, we sent a new list to the past manager. Jim Spears here in the audience, council member, says it was adopted. Whether it's made its way into E-code yet, I don't know.
Okay.
That's something that, sometimes that takes time. That step could have fallen through the cracks. I don't know.
It was passed at the March 21st, 2024 meeting. Just
Okay.
do not believe it was updated to E-code yet. So I will grab Chris's email from Kev and send that copy.
Okay, that'd be great. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff.
Okay. So is our only recommendation then to change out the arborvitae for magnolia or similar?
Preferably native trees, if we could just underscore that.
Is the new list, does it have native broken out separately or?
It's all native.
Okay, then I should be good just picking from the list.
Okay, thank you.
More or less. I imagine we need an official motion, though, probably at this point.
So but what are we motioning? That we,
We're going to recommend that the plans are approved. I mean, we're just at semantics. Council has approved the plans on condition that we approve the plan. Yes.
right,
Just saying.
So I'll recommend that the Shade Tree Commission approve the plans with the condition that the arborvitae are removed from the plant list and replaced with native species from the borough's approved plant list.
perfect.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Dawn will second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay.
Okay, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Goodbye.
And Jeff, just for the minutes, I'm gonna say Jeff Eldon will, you're gonna get the list and be sure it's correct.
That's great.
And forward to Chris. How is it spelled? Chris.
YOHN.
Y-O-H-N. Okay.
I would like to see the list, because
Yeah, we had it.
I mean, we.
Thank you. That's really helpful.
Is it in our folders anywhere?
I don't.
It's probably.
I just
Not
might
that I've seen, no.
Okay, Carson will share list
Yeah, great.
with all STC members.
Excellent, thank you.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Awesome.
Back to our regular agenda.
Is that where we are?
That's where we are. Any expenses?
You didn't have anything regarding the, okay.
It's only twice. I just got some bagels, but I won't put them.
No, oh, I thought you had some expense, to plant those things that we tied.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Yeah, nothing.
okay.
I might have, if I get the door hangers printed, then,
Okay,
minimal
okay,
for
Just
that.
send that to me.
Or I'll send, thank you, Jeff, yeah.
okay.
As much as we appreciate what you all do, we don't want you to be spending your money and then waiting to get.
Okay, so, go ahead.
Winter pruning is sort of a remnant unless anybody wants to do a very late winter pruning the next month.
Okay, so I'll be sure it's not on the agenda next.
I have to do my winter pruning. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, that was a good time.
Ooh.
Anything for the website?
I skipped over that instead to do our Instagram.
Oh, great.
But yes, website is next on, but I thought, yeah, it's still a little bit late, but I did get us a new, Instagram account. I put a document that has all of, the information. I had to make a new Gmail account to attach to that Instagram account.
Yeah.
I still had to attach my Yahoo account to something, so it's not complete, but I put that there, so,
Right.
it's not completely like detached from me, but
As much as it could be.
99%, yes.
Yeah.
And, so it's in the Google Docs?
You know what, I think, no, Carson, I couldn't find it either, I was just looking for it, so,
Okay.
if you see it in there, Bettina, or else I
So
have to
there's
figure.
there's a page with accounts.
No,
Is it in,
well, I think I just called it Instagram,
of the document?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
but I don't,
Well, I did create one with just like for all the accounts.
oh,
So
so,
we can add
I'll
it to
put it
that.
in there,
If-
okay,
yeah,
great,
so
thank you, so,
Just go to the folder that's called accounts.
great, I'll do that.
Document with all of the
So sorry,
accounts.
nothing happened with the website this go around.
We did a lot though.
You did a
You
lot,
Thank
thank you. Really, that's awesome, Christina.
So we can all, if you have Instagram, everybody like it.
Yeah.
I tried to find, you like.
I said,
some stuff. I did,
I got a ping and I love it.
I did get some followers, I mean,
What is the new name?
the new one, Rick, is ST, oh, so I'm sorry. The new one, I just had it up the whole time. It's Narberth STC.
We had almost exhausted every variation of.
Yeah, we have two others.
See.
I have our, URL.
And it's
Now-
attached to your email, your Yahoo email?
It's attached to my a new Shade Tree Commission Gmail account, and I put all
okay.
that information in that document.
Oh, okay.
So if we wanted to use that for anything, we could.
So if, let's say we're planting today and we're snapping snaps and we want to post them. And I don't know how limited that is. Is
I'm
the
hoping-
number of creators limited?
I mean, I am happy to do it, but I also don't need to be the only one. I'm not saying that, so I'm hoping that other people, by sharing this, I'm hoping that we could all,
Mm-hmm,
if we wanted to,
mm-hmm.
like, populate it. I'm not trying to.
No,
I
yeah,
want
I
the
think
more of
that was
us
one
that
of our
were somewhere
problems
we wanna
with Sally
post
was
to it.
dealing with it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think a gatekeeper kind of keeps content from getting up there, so if we, the more the better.
Okay, I don't see your document. so-
You know, I
just
need to,
add-
I didn't see it either
Okay,
there, so
okay.
I'm gonna do that.
Well, fine, great, thank you very much.
Sure.
Okay. The Park and Rec Master Plan also is a remnant. We got more of an update from Jeff that final presentation is, did you say next month, Jeff, or just sometime in the future?
I know they had a call, yesterday, just kind of putting the finishing touches on things. I would have imagined that may be at the meeting in 2 weeks. Possibly, don't quote me on that, but I will find out and let you all know.
All right, Christina has already talked about Instagram. We got the planting, advertisement in the Borough Blast, right?
Yeah, yeah.
No new changes in Borough office staff.
I'm gonna take that off too.
Okay. It has been a constant.
Although
for a few
Kelsey is,
years.
I mean, technically, because Maggie has asked us to, communicate with Kelsey when we have communication stuff. Now, sorry, I'm forgetting her last name, but I have her email on my thing now.
Fisher.
Fisher, thank you,
And
but I'll remove this for the, minutes next.
I haven't received any new general contacts in a while.
Okay,
So that's the end of our formal
Okay.
agenda.
okay, great.
Do I hear a final motion? I'll make a motion that we adjourn the meeting at 8:43, and I heard Dawn second. All in favor?
Bye.
Any opposed? None.
Yes.
Okay. Good meeting.
Yes.
There is